In 1955, Dr. Calvin Murphy was working on experimental particle beams aiming to materialize the dead through their long-lost particle residue. After years of experimentation, he was finally ready to test his device. His first particle residue trail brought him to the outskirts of Texas.
If my calculations are correct, this residue is from 19th century outlaw Leroy Snick Pickett. Let's start my new team with some muscle, shall we? I did it! Finally, after all those years!
I guess this snake has shed its skin.
But he didn't stop there. And years later, the next particle residue he picked up was from Soviet cosmonaut Igor Volkov.
I need to obtain one of the Soviet Union's most promising cosmonauts. He would be an incredible addition to my team.
However, the particle residue was mixed up with Bonzo, a monkey launched into space during the early years of spaceflight. And so, an unfortunate hybrid was materialized instead.
I don't remember having this much hair on my face. Oh, of course. Only capitalists would bring back a Soviet hero as the monkey.
After picking up on new residue readings, his next mission took him to France, where the opportunity arose to materialize the French hero of the 100-Year War, Pierre Courtois.
The legendary Pierre Courtois returns!
While in Europe, he picked up the particle residue of a famous British investigator. However, the machine latched onto the wrong residue, and Karen Nanny Wood was raised instead, the infamous 19th century killer nanny. Just as all seemed to go well, disaster struck. After years of use, ironically, the machine that was meant to revive the dead gave Dr. Murphy lethal radiation disease.
Oh, the horror that I was so close to reaching my goals. I must find a way to go on.
As he couldn't revive himself after death, he did the only thing he could: upload his conscience into an experimental computer. Following years of reconstructing his mind, Dr. Murphy was finally back online, ready to continue his mission.
Not the new body I wanted, but it will do for now. I will quickly upgrade the system and get back to work.
However, time had moved on, and now, having officially been deceased, the doctor was cut off from his funds. In order to raise underground funds, he turned to take on less fashionable jobs. One day, he received a rather peculiar request from Director Conager of the Ark Mining Company. He was to go to Turkey immediately, as an underground mysterious threat had been discovered.
Thank you for coming here, Dr. Murphy. It is truly fascinating to come across someone who's cheated death.
Thank you for inviting me and considering my services. So where might we be of help?
Do you like history, Doctor? Are you familiar with the concept of hell?
Of course I'm aware of it, but what does the world's largest mining company care about mythology?
Well, until very recently, not very much. But I'm afraid during our dig in Turkey, we've come across something that was unexpected, I should say. Let me explain. As you know, 1,000 years ago, the religious believed horned, goat-like demonic creatures rose to the surface to try and take control of humanity, burning all those who stood in their way, and only through the heroic sacrifices of knights and angels was the devil's army kept at bay.
I see, but what do these ancient ghost stories have to do with us?
Because, my good doctor, these ghost stories are somewhat real, and we found them. You see, the underworld army is real, and from the looks of it, is preparing for yet another attack, much larger than before.
Wait, so let's assume for a second I believe this story. Why not call in the mercenaries? Surely there are plenty of private armies to rent.
Oh, if the world finds out what's down there, a global chaos erupts. So you can see, delicacy is needed to eliminate the threat, something off the books.
Yet surely an undead doctor and his ghost agents are too little to tackle this global satanic threat, aren't they?
Not from what our intel tells us. These beasts seem to focus on a very select group of cult leaders. Take those out, stop the threat, and we can stabilize the area. The world then sleeps another night without knowing what roams beneath them.
This still doesn't explain why us.
Because you said it yourself, Doctor. You are already dead. So they cannot smell you. They don't know you're coming. And by the time you're there, we can spawn in our troops to assist. So, are you in?
Doc, I hope you know what you're doing, bringing us to this hellhole for a quick buck.
I'd rather be frozen in space than try to deal with whatever these freaks found down in this creepy cave.
I see a talking monkey and skeletons? Justine, what did you put in my food?
Pierre, I brought you back to life through complex reassembly. No time to explain. We have a job to do.
This is not what I thought God would look like. This one is a cranky bald man who put us in hell. Wait a second.
All right, Medieval Tin Man. Listen up. You're not in the afterlife yet. Just shoot first, ask questions later. Let's get this over with.
Oh,